I'd like to give St. Louis a ton of credit. And you can tell it means a lot to their fans and their players. Thought they were excellent tonight. It's got to be really hard to be in their shoes. So ton of credit to them and Steve Churchu. I thought they were excellent.
As for you guys tonight, crazy 10 minutes where you have a penalty call, the penalty save, a goal disallowed. Can you go through that sequence and what it meant tonight?
Yeah, that was a ridiculous sequence of emotions, and I can't really comment on how I truly felt, or I'd be fined. But for Ben to save that PK was absolutely massive. I thought our response to it was excellent. What can you do if you don't get a call? So it was a strange game to start that way, but give our guys a ton of credit for finding that first goal, for staying after it, for in the face of what could have turned into some crazy emotions, cooler heads were prevailing, and that was just indicative of the whole match, though. It was going to be hard, it was going to be a fight, it was going to be emotional. So to get that first goal was big. Don't necessarily think we finished the half out to our liking. Had a couple really good moments here and there, but not enough. Second half was just another battle. We made some tactical changes. Felt like those helped in some areas. We didn't give St. Louis up much. And then obviously to get the second and to close it out was important for us.
Talk about Ben Lund with that save on the penalty kick. He also had a ton of saves tonight. Came a huge man of the match. Talk about his performance.
Yeah, that PK save was massive. I would still say that we would get a goal back. I think we're that kind of team that we're capable of it. But to not go behind and to allow them to shift to a more defensive, compact organization, it was really huge. So he was solid the rest of the night. Good coming off his line, a couple punches, a couple of good saves. Huge night, and we need that from everybody, quite frankly. But congratulations, Ben. And we already talked about it in the locker room how important that was.
John, 6 for 6, making a case for conference for this organization, great for yourself. That just doesn't happen. Could you explain just kind of significance? I think maybe.
I can't explain it, and it doesn't happen. I mean, there's not many sports I think you can look at around the globe where a franchise is as successful as LouCity's has been, and it's not easy. You can see that from tonight. It's not easy, and so it's an impressive stat. I'm so happy for the players in that locker room, and most of them have been here for multiple trips to the Eastern Conference Final. Niall's been to all 6. Niall thinks that it's just normal, that that's what we do. I guess he's right. Again, just thankful, but it's not easy, and it's really, I know there's a couple teams that have done it, in other sports, but it's extremely tough, especially in football or soccer.
Just 3 straight shutouts at St. Louis, pretty unusual. Is there anything specific that you did in all those games that you think was effective, or have you had to adjust on the fly?
We've adjusted in all 3, but what I really think we did well in all 3 of them, we defended collectively. We were really good on defensive restarts. We catch them offsides here again tonight. We caught them offsides twice in our last meeting against them, and that might be a little thing. And for sure, it's not easy as a coach when you're thinking of doing that, but it's so important that we were holding our line and making them jump first.
John, I feel like St. Louis kind of unsettled the defense maybe more than certainly Pittsburgh did and than most teams do. Why do you think that is? Why do you think they troubled Ben so much?
Well, I mean, I don't think that we took the initiative in that first half. I think we were trying to press, and we were over-pressing, meaning we were leaving everybody man for man across the back line. But we were late, and we weren't late by much, but we were late by that half a second that you can't be late. And that caused us some problems. Our reactions in cover positions weren't good. On the PK, I mean, we have some problems, but literally we had 5 guys that could go press the ball, make it go backwards, make it go sideways, and not one guy got to it. And when, Lexi was the last guy needed to be there, needed to make a play, and he doesn't, we get caught ball watching, and they get him behind. So that was really indicative of what we were doing, and we talked about it at halftime. We made an adjustment early in the second half to go to a different system, to go to a 3-5-2, and that helped out.
When you have a couple of key players who are on loan, how do you manage that in terms of planning and knowing that I guess they could be called?
Just to make sure, and we feel like Cam is family. This is his club, and Ben, he's in his second professional year. I've known him for a good number of years because my son and he played together at Akron. And Ben, this is the only club that he's played for so far. So I think it's a little different context than just the guys coming off a loan. But those 2 loans are huge.
How has home field advantage helped you? We're unrestricted fans, obviously, at about 4,900, but they make a lot of noise.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Besides you yelling up there really loud, the fans are incredible. I mean, the drum line was going crazy tonight. I think they helped Ben on that PK save. I literally do. The energy was, it was incredible. So we are very fortunate to have this facility, to have this cathedral that is Lynn Family Stadium, and to have fans that are as passionate as they are. We're very thankful for that, and we hope that we rewarded them, and next week can even be louder.
Ron, initial thoughts on Tampa next week coming up here?
Yeah, I haven't seen a ton of Tampa in recent weeks, so I'm going to have my hands full tomorrow, watching a lot of video, so will Danny and Scott. But I would expect that they were one of the teams that were thought, especially in like the bottom 2 groups in the South, not bottom 2, but the 2 southern groups in the Eastern Conference. Tampa was all the time thought of as a top team, so that makes sense.
This is a very physical and intense game. Every time you looked up, there was bodies on the floor. Were you surprised at all by the fight that St. Louis, gave you all tonight, and what was it like adjusting to that intensity throughout the match?
Yeah, it was intense. That's just it. And as a coach, I mean, with all the things that are happening, there's a lot of emotions, and we're trying to manage things and make some adjustments here and there. But the credit goes to the players. I mean, they did a phenomenal job of matching the fight, trying to play our soccer when we could, although that was really disrupted, and give them a ton of credit.
We didn't mention Cam, but just also have to talk about Luke's goal. Just how nice was it to see another one of your veterans just step up and contribute in that way?
Yeah, happy for both those guys. I think this guy deserves a ton of credit. Antoine creates the first goal and puts in a beautiful little ball for Cam to do what Cam does, but without Antoine it wouldn't happen. So a lot of praise all the way around.
Antoine, Ben stepped up big for your team. He had to do a little bit more tonight than some past games. What does he mean for your club, and what have you seen from his play?
Yeah, I mean, he's been amazing. Obviously, the second year, he's grown a lot as a player. He's grown a lot as a person. I think he's opening up a lot in the locker room as well, so I think that's helping. He's feeling more comfortable with us as a team and on and off the field. And I think it's really showing on the field. He's making some big saves, and obviously that PK save it makes the entire game. Without that, we're down 1-0 early on, and they can kind of get in a shell, and it makes it a lot harder on us.
On your assist on the opening goal to Cam, did you realize how much space he was in? Did you know that he's kind of be in that kind of area? Is that something you guys kind of maybe experienced in training?
Yeah, we've been talking about it a lot because this is the first time me and Cam have played together. So he's kind of been talking a lot at the training and after games, and where he wants the ball, what he wants me to do with it. So that's something we've been working on. Is when I cut it back on my right foot, he peels off at the back post, and today he worked out perfectly. So it's amazing.
How often do you practice that sequence?
Oh, every week at practice, that's something we practice. When we do finishing drills, we do crossing drills. So that's something he knows that as soon as that happens, he peels off of the back post, and I try to find him there.
Is your cross as reliable as that one was on a consistent basis?
Usually, yeah, sometimes. Yeah. It depends. On a good day.
How much did you all have to adjust to the physicality of tonight's match with St. Louis? They came out with injuries as well. How did you all kind of counter that and play kind of the tempo that you all like to play?
Yeah, I mean, we knew they were going to come out with a lot of energy every time we've played them. I think they've made it really tough on us. I thought we came out here trying to kind of use the field, the bigger field, the grass field to our advantage, and try to tire them out a little bit. Kind of use their excess energy against them. And honestly, to their credit, they didn't really tire out. Even at the end, they're still fighting. They're still working hard. They're still making our lives miserable. So honestly, they're unbelievable club by them. They've had a great year, and honestly, we're glad that we won. Obviously, but that was a tough game. It was not an easy one, and I think the celebration in the locker room a little bit exemplifies that. The fact that it wasn't easy at all today.
Your first thoughts on Tampa? Obviously, you used to play down there. I know Neil's got a pretty strong team. Do you think, you've been away for a little while, can you bring anything to the table from your time down there?
Yeah, I think they play a similar style that Neil has got a good idea of what he wants his team to do, and he does a really good job of getting his players to do it. So it's going to be a tough game, and they're very well organized. They defend really, really well, and they bring in a lot of energy. So I think it's going to be a similar game as tonight. They play 3-5-2 as well, so it's going to be a similar game with physicality and kind of tactically as well.
Being out wide like you are, do you like going against the 3-5-2 system?
I don't care. It's just kind of the same. It doesn't really matter. We go against 3-5-2s, we go against 4-3-3s, we go against kind of everything. So it doesn't really matter. I think we try to, me and OJ on the left, try to kind of create space for each other as much as possible. And it doesn't really matter what formation the other team is in, because our movement is somewhat similar.
Knowing that St. Louis is about to disband, do you see any extra energy or motivation from them?
Oh, I think so. I think, you could see them after the game celebrating with the fans. I think it meant a little bit more to them. We heard a lot of, they were the team of destiny. They, kind of scrapped into the playoffs, beat Hartford at their place. I think they believed that they were going to come here and beat us and continue this run. We're glad that didn't happen.
How do you account for shutting them out 3 times in a row?
Oh, that's our defense. I think our defense has been unbelievable. We have guys like Tosh and Lexi. They've been unbelievable. I think a lot of people talk about OJ's, going forward, getting assists, but he doesn't get enough credit defensively. And then, Pat is a veteran player I think he's been on successful teams for like 5 years straight, and no one really realizes it. He's a guy who's been unbelievable for 5 years straight, and he doesn't nearly get the credit he deserves.
6 straight trips now to the conference finals for Louisville City. How do you kind of put that number in perspective at the moment?
Yeah, it's wild. I've only been here for 2 of them, so this is my second, but it's truly unbelievable. And it's weird to say it's expected, but we come into every season like if we don't make it to the Eastern Conference Finals at least, if not the championship game, that's not a successful season. I think in our locker room's minds, I think we really believe in ourselves. We really believe in our ability to win these one and done games. I think this is where we thrive. I think this is what we play for. Honestly, we come out here and we know, hey, we have to battle for 90 minutes, and the one team keeps going and one team goes home, and it's very rarely Louisville for 6 years now.
You mentioned the celebration in the locker room. What was that like tonight?
It was good. I think it's it's a big thing. Six times in the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't think it gets old. For me, it's my second one, so obviously not for me, but even for the guys who've been there for a while, it doesn't get old. Winning doesn't get old, and you can tell that we're ready. We were happy to win, but honestly, very professional team, and by tomorrow we'll be focused on Tampa.
Leading the league in clean sheets and sort of deflected that onto the defense. It felt like tonight you were called into action a little bit more than usual. Can you kind of take us through the night and maybe compare how much you were challenged now? Does it feel like maybe more than the entire season?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I said it earlier this week, and I've been saying this the whole season. As a goalkeeper, it's not always easy playing for Louisville City, because sometimes, you only get 1 or 2 shots on goal, and you have to be there, and sometimes they'll go in, especially earlier this season. And the defense, the whole team has been doing a really, really good job, and throughout the season I've been kind of waiting for a game where I can really step up and help the team. And I think, today that was the game. And sometimes you need your goalkeeper to make a couple of saves, and especially in the Eastern semi-final where we play a really good team, really organized team, a team with a lot of belief. And as everyone else, I did my job today, and so did everyone else in the team.
Take us through the moment of the penalty, and I don't know that the stadium's been that loud before. Could you feel that, or what was going through your mind?
I honestly didn't feel that. I focused on the penalty. I didn't know who was coming up to shoot the penalty. Scott Budnick, my goalkeeper coach, has been doing a really good job of scouting other teams. So I watched a couple penalties from a couple of guys before the game. There might be a possibility of a penalty shootout, so kind of have to. And then I see Fall coming up, and I had a pretty good idea what he wants to do. And luckily it worked out.
You're expecting him to go right?
At this one I was hoping he was going right, yeah. But I think I watched 5-6 penalties of him. We discussed it in our little goalkeeper union. The specific player had a penalty against us, against Chris Hubbard last year, against Ottawa Louisville, and he went the same side. So we kind of discussed it as a little group, and we decided before the game if he's coming up for a penalty that I would be going to my left. Yeah.
Do you enjoy those moments, or do you dread them when there's a penalty kick?
I wouldn't say enjoy, because there's also a big chance going down one goal at home, especially early in the game. So I didn't enjoy the moment. I was just focused on the moment, and that's it. Luckily it worked out.
You talked about it. It's hard to play goalie for this team because it's so dominant. Does your mind wander when the ball's down the other end of the field for long stretches?
That's the difficulty of being a goalkeeper for Louisville City. I have to stay focused for 90 minutes, and it sounds like a phrase, but that's what it is. There might be a shot in the 85th minute, in the 90th minute, and I have to do my job like all the other guys been doing it for 90 minutes. So that's the challenge sometimes. Today I was in the game early on, and that's sometimes good for a goalkeeper, staying engaged. You can't really. Today I couldn't really take my mind off the game, and that worked well for me. But that's a challenge in every game. So I have to do my job. It doesn't matter if it's in the 10th minute today, or if it's in the 90th, or if it's in the 120th.
Right. The other close play was the header to tipped over the goal. Can you take us through that?
That was a interesting play. So we knew going to the game that St. Louis has a lot of trick plays, and they kind of caught us off guard. They played this floated ball into the back. I see it coming on his head, so I'm taking a step forward, expecting him to put the ball back into danger where all their tall guys were. It kind of goes over me, and luckily I got a touch on it.
Were you at all surprised at the aggressiveness from St. Louis tonight, or were you kind of expecting it because of everything going on?
Yeah, the coaching staff did a really good job preparing us for this game. St. Louis, first of all, they're a really good team. They're well coached, they're well organized, they have good players. And, for them, this game, first of all, it's a semifinal, so it's win or go home. And especially for them, they came with everything they had, and, we trained for that, we expected that. So, I think we were well prepared.
Does it take a special mentality to succeed in your position?
I mean, every goalkeeper has a special mentality. You have to be a little bit crazy sometimes, some people say, and, sometimes the pressure, can't affect you at all. So, and I said it, as we already said, for me as a goalkeeper, and every goalkeeper, you have to be focused for 90 minutes. And sometimes as a field player, you get yourself into the game, but sometimes you can rest. And in a game, in the heat of the moment, it can all happen so fast. The ball slipping through, a bad bounce, whatever.
Are you a little bit crazy?
Yeah, a little
so?
bit. Just a little bit, just a touch. No comment.